This is Hustle and Glow. I'm Francesca Alexander, founder of Social Global Grind and Hustle and Glow Network. We don't do burnout culture here. We talk about real marketing, real business, and what it looks like to build something that actually lasts. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Hustle and Glow, and today I'm going to be handing the mic over to someone who really earned every bit of what she has built. Maria Abercrombie of My Vibes Co. is one of those rare people who combines genuine warmth with seriously sharp business mind. She is just amazing. I love her so much. And she actually moved to New Zealand from Brazil in her 20s, and she had a vision like to build a career from like the ground up. She created a life that is genuinely beautiful, and she's now helping small business owners do the same through smart systems, digital tools, and the kind of coaching that actually meets people where they are. And in this episode, we talk about what really takes to automate and scale small businesses without losing the human element, and made those people choose what actually is more practical. Maria actually helps you sort through that. And she is not only practical, she's really intelligent. I met her years and years ago, and she was in her 20s, and just such a spark of good energy. And so, of course, her company is going to be called My Vibes. Like, that's perfect. But anyway, here we go. Here, we're going to go into the episode. And in the description notes, please check it out, because I'm going to put all of her links, her Instagram, her actual link to her podcast on Spotify as well. So hope you enjoy.
I'm Maria, and I'm so happy you're here. Today's episode is such a special one for me. I sat down with Francesca Alexander, and honestly, this conversation felt like a full circle moment. Francesca is one of those people I have looked up to for years. She's bold, clever, generous, deeply honest, and she says things in a way that makes you sit up a little straight and think, okay, yes, I needed to hear that. We talk about social media, AI, visibility, personal brand, women in business, being an immigrant, being a woman of color, and what it actually takes to be seen online, especially when it feels uncomfortable, cringe, or a little too vulnerable. And of course, we talk about AI, not in a scary, robotic way, but in a really practical way. How it can help a small business save time, create content, do research, organize their thinking, and actually make work feel a little bit more human. There are so many moments in this conversation that I loved, but one that really stayed with me was when Francesca said, "Girl, they don't know you if they can't see you." And honestly, that is the whole vibe of this episode. So, whether you're a business owner, a mom, a creative, someone trying to build your personal brand, or someone who knows they need to show up online but keeps overthinking, this one's for you. Let's get into it.
Hi, and thank you so much. I'm so excited.
I mean, really, seriously, I think this is like a Latina moment. So cue the music. I am so, because it's so rare for me to get to another Latina. I am so excited. I can't even tell you.
You know how much I love you, and I had to track you down and send girl and be like, please meet with me.
You're kidding. It's an honor. I mean, just to see how far you've come and what you've done, and, the ambition is contagious when I'm around you. So yeah, and when I'll be there. Yeah, definitely.
I know you being in my life a huge person that I looked up to.
Oh.
And I see your, how you do things, how you put yourself out there, all the things that you have achieved as well. It's just so beautiful, and I just love it so much. And you being supportive to me the whole time. We always had time for me to have chats, to talk about it, and you always being so vulnerable, and so you said things how they are.
I try.
Well, you do, and I really appreciate it, because it makes it so much more relatable and so much more achievable. So I you've been huge in my career and in my life. So this is amazing.
Oh, you're welcome. And to you too, to see where you started and how you crafted the life that you really wanted is absolutely inspirational. That's all I ever wanted for you is you get yours, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm?
She's going to be so cool. So for Francesca, for the people that are meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do? In your words.
Okay. So, oh God, who am I? I am somebody who desperately wants to educate women in New Zealand on how to use social media as leverage for your businesses, but more importantly, now more than ever, that you should not use anything to stop you from using AI to achieve those things. And right now it's almost like we jumped over from the tall poppy syndrome, and now we're getting really upset about AI because AI has been eliminating jobs, but don't let that stop you for getting the life and the business that you really want. So we're there again, right? Like you and I, when we just met, and it was when I came over here to New Zealand, was 2014, and everybody was like about social media not caring. Meanwhile, brands have been using it and taking off in the last 5 years about it. But it took that long. And we're at that crossroads again where people are not really, and you don't have to trust AI. You can use discernment, but don't let it be the barrier to stop you from going to your next real step that you deserve, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And you just touch base in so many really good subjects, like about taking over jobs, about how scary it is. Back in 2014, I met you in 2016.
Was it through Instagram?
And I was just like, I fucking love you. I was just so, and that's what I mean, you know, like you literally talk your talk, you walk your walk. I saw that and I was just like, I want this. Like, I don't know how this looked like. How did you create this? I want this.
Yeah.
You just said a few really awesome things about how it took women in New Zealand back then. What do you think is it scared, anxious, and now we're in this new turning point with AI and using AI for your social media? Can you explore a little bit more like that?
Yeah. So like in 2008 in Los Angeles in particular, people and PR companies were like, social media is a fad. Don't look at it. We don't put our clients through it. And what was happening really was people were shaking in their boots, not knowing how to do it. This was the boomer generation, right? So in 2008, they would have been in play. And they didn't want to learn because they were afraid they couldn't understand it. They didn't want to use a younger person to help do it. Does this all sound familiar, right? A younger person to help with that scheme or help develop strategy, because then they would take over a business that I've worked really hard and long for. And so that sort of transfer, and I was like, okay, well, that's that. People are starting to get on it. I come over here in 2014 thinking I'm going to hit the ground running, and the same shit is happening, but in a different country. And they seem to be like, New Zealand, I love you. I am a New Zealand citizen finally, by the way. But it's just, I know, it's really cool. But the thing, now I can call you my people officially. And what my people have a problem with is modernization, right? You're stuck on that old way of things worked. When I came here, they wanted me to make 20 phone calls for business development when actually we should have been reaching out for them on social media, or so we're discoverable. None of that wanted to happen. Nobody wanted to have that conversation. The same thing is happening now with AI, where people are pushing back and saying, we need real people. We're going to use, and it's almost in every country now, they're framing it where we're going to lose Kiwi jobs over AI, and we're not going to tolerate it, and we're not going to do it. So it's a bully mentality of something that, look, it's already here. Like, what are you doing, first of all? Secondly, it's not only taking yourself out of growth, you're getting your whole company or whoever's there that you're working with, whether it's yours or your company or someone else's, you're now stopping the progress of that company. So with all of those pieces said, you should just probably learn it. I mean, and I'm sure that you have resources. I know that I do. I have a program that actually does that. But it doesn't matter who you choose. I'm honestly, see, I get really passionate.
I love it. It does come through your passion, and I just really, really love it.
I mean, I just, at this point, I just want to yell at people in Spanish and hold the chancla, because I just want people to go ahead and understand that this is to your detriment. You need to step up and do it. This is the other thing as a new immigrant too, especially when I'm talking to women of color or people of color. Traditionally, we are not led into spaces or growth generally. What happens to this group of people that keep on saying no and that don't have the same pathway as everybody else? They find a way anyway. So AI is going to actually boost the economy for people of color, because they're like, yep, I got it. I'm going to run with it. And so because we're conditioned to find another way, to find the faster way. And I always said, I think I said this to you many years ago, like, no one's ever going to hand us the key to the corner office. We have to either create the building or we have to find our way on our terms, because no one's going to give it to us. And we're really good at that. So there is this like intersection of how we can actually advance and grow the equality, women too, have that platform. But the way that New Zealand was cool about holding the tall poppy syndrome as a way to hold yourself back. And by the way, separate conversation, who is that benefiting, right? Like, let's call misogyny. But with all of that said, if you're going to hold on to that as this is why I can't really progress, or I just want to be humble, well, you can humbly make millions. Humbly. Because women, what do women do when they have a lot of money? I don't know, pour it back into the economy, make sure the community's stable, make sure the food is accessible, housing's accessible, make sure the children are well educated. What do men do? Is it the boat, the batch, and the beamer? That's a saying over here, right? Those are the three things that they're going to go ahead and invest in when they do get money. So what is more profitable to the economy than having a lot of women that are filthy rich?
I just love you so much. And you just touch base in so many amazing things. I'm like, I have a set here, but you're just jumping all my, and I just love it. Okay, let's just go back a little bit. How did Social Global Grind begin?
Okay, so that was me getting fired from Kate Somerville Skincare. This is in West Hollywood. I actually helped name some of the products. Anything that says Kate on it, like Exfoliate, that was me. I actually started. And then unceremoniously, they wanted to sell to another company. And I didn't fit the bracket, or trying to cut down the salary, as one does in a lot of these big companies. They go ahead and just start to like weed out the people that are actually making a little bit money, but don't see them as part of the future. And to be frank, that was me. So I started consulting just because it was readily accessible. I've also was a MAC makeup artist for a number of years and had some people that in Los Angeles in particular, MAC makeup artists had like agents to go do, they had agents so they can do more celebrity cosmetic jobs, right? So I knew some of those other people. I worked with some of the senior MAC makeup artists, and they kept on asking me about social media. What does this do? What does that do? How do you manage this disaster, right? So I started consulting, and then sort of accidentally became a part of what I did. And each role that I did, or was a contractor for, was about social media and how do we grow our company. And that's kind of how it started. Then I started teaching it, which totally nerded out. Loved it so much. I was a complete nerd. And if I could do that for the rest of my life, I would have loved it. But as things happen and moves happen, my husband's a Kiwi. We moved to New Zealand in 2014. And I had to work client side. So I started working with clients, anything from a digital recruiter to the head digital person on 20th Century Fox or Universal. And then everything started to die down because this wasn't the way. Corporate social media or corporate management wasn't the way to even out the playing field for a number of businesses. So here, that's how I changed it a little bit and made sure that it was accessible to everybody. And, just small businesses in particular, like helping them out.
Yeah, and you do such an amazing job. And can we talk about Hustle and Glow then? Because you've done
Sure.
so many beautiful things for the community and for having accessible. So you're not just saying those things, but you actually do it. Can you just talk about it a little bit?
Sure. So Hustle and Glow, kind of like my company, has a lot of different changes. And one of them was I had a problem going back on social media. So, and a lot of it changed in August of last year. My mother had passed away. And what happened,
Sorry.
thank you. What had happened with that is that I was getting a lot of inner voices like, yes, write that book, go back and do your podcast, do more social media. And then my mother doesn't cuss, but I felt like a female ancestry pull saying like, who are you hiding from? Do it. Hurry up. Do it now. Da, 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 da. Like, like kind of like our ancestors, our grandmothers would talk to us like, come on, let's get it going. I'm like, all right. So
Waiting for it, yeah.
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 All of that. And the word chingona kept on coming up, and chingona in Spanish means badass. So like, just do it, we both do. We have a lineage of women that were freaking badasses. They've done and overcome something. And for us to honor that, we need to go forward. So Hustle and Glow was, at the time, was actually hitting up against, we're like, I don't want to hustle. The hustle culture's dead. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, that's great for you. But for the rest of us brown people, or us richly melanated people, we can't stop the hustle, right? So we need to learn how to have to go through it anyway. We always have to hustle, whether it's our personal brand, selling ourselves to another job, making sure that even though that job isn't there and that we're actually looking at a leadership role, we have to hustle and we have to perform harder. We have to be, a higher performance than somebody else. So with all of that said, how do we position ourselves to do that? Hustle and Glow was that. The podcast generally was a way or a voice to just name all of those things unapologetically. And it's not to ruffle any feathers or to, rage against the machine or be racial, but walking around, especially in New Zealand, but anywhere in the world, really, I am political just walking down the street. I'm a woman and I'm a brown woman. So I'm not even going to hear that part of the conversation. Instead, I'm just going to go forward and see what I can do to contribute to how we structure the life that we want and also have real conversations. And that was it. And then it started to build. I'm like, all right, well, we need that education element. Okay, so we need a network, because a network game in New Zealand, it's quite sad. And from the girl boss era that is so 2012, but I just want to jump over any ledge when I hear that. But what the other traditional networking groups are is that they as you go into it and you go on, they're great distractions from doing what you should be doing. There's a lot of drama because you put a group of people together. Eventually, you're going to be caught up in drama. So it's like, all right, enough with the distractions. How can we get a group of women together to workshop stuff? You know what I mean? So if you came up from your job and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. I don't know how to do an Excel spreadsheet presentation, and this shit's due in 2 days. And I have no idea how to do it. My assistant doesn't know how to do it. What am I going to do? And then I'm like, oh, we should have a workshop. Like people coming in with like real tasks that they have to complete, and let's do it together. And that's where my network is actually evolving to. So it's going to be, the first part's going to be like, let's create content together. And then the second part is like, let's workshop our problems together. And I think that that's going to be a way for us to go forward. Plus, it's going to be the cool stuff. Like, you get a group of the right type of women, like Auckland Executive Club, for instance. I love that. Not that I'm the vice president or anything, but I always go to places. I believe that, if I'm in that room, they're pretty stellar group of people. Those are great. but we need to have more of this type that I have. And eventually I want to be able to have them in different parts of the country that want to lead them, and that, everything's already done for you. And it'd be kind of cool to even have like maybe a session once a month where we're all jumping online and we're like sharing our findings or sharing our stuff. Groups are doing it now. There's lots of tech groups are out there in the States, but I mean, we got to get one for women too. We really do.
We really do. Absolutely. And I love your podcast as well. It's so relevant, and so it makes you think and different things as well. The last one was the reputation about, the gap that they stopped doing social media, and how, like, in dollars, how much that was worth it. The $8 million.
That's the approximate of what we looked at of what they could have lost. And then as soon as I put that on, they released Victoria Beckham, her collection with the Gap. And I'm like, they're so capable of doing cool stuff, but they have it. And this is where New Zealand, I think the Gap are intersecting here, is that they don't want to do social media. Like, why not? Why not? You have a great platform. Part of that contract with Victoria Beckham could have been like, yeah, let's have a conversation about Gap, or let's do these really cool commercials that are in keeping with what they used to do. Like this, I mean, you could have just ran with it, right? But no, it's just like one release, kind of like H&M. H&M has those kind of releases as well. And then they go to the wayside. As soon as they sell out, there's no more. Well, then what's the money for? I mean, aside from getting in the news cycle for about 1 or 2 weeks, really? Like, what are you giving me? Like, I would just be harder on that position for sure if I was like running the Gap.
Yeah. And I want to translate that for a small woman's business here in New Zealand. Can we just talk about like a little bit, because it's not going to be $8 million approximately. And so do you want to talk a little bit about why you should be on social media? Like, what is it, like in what you're missing out for not being there?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I love your new account on Instagram. There's so much vibrant brands, content. It's like totally you. Like, yeah, actually, she would be jumping like that, like any given Sunday. She, that was truly, it shows your personality. And what happens on social media when you connect with a brand like yours is it like, okay, she's likable. She's my kind of person. What is she doing? I want to follow her. Like if you did a vlog, I want to find out what you're doing. I want to see what, oh my God, there's this gorgeous Brazilian girl. She's a mom. She lives in New Zealand. What does that look like? And I've also seen it, just before that. So I've seen, what are your restaurant recommendations? What are you doing? And then of course the dating life that would have happened, but in the same sort of happiness and the same sort of like, okay, girlfriend got hers. How does her life look now? Like all of that is genuine tug and pull. Like I want her on my feed. I want to see what's going on. And that's exactly from a brand perspective. If you showed why you did why do you have your product? What is it supposed to solve? Tell me your behind the scenes story. What does your whole business look like? And I'm oh my God, let this be an accountable moment for me because I'm supposed to be doing that too. But, if we do that, and we have seen some Kiwi creators actually start to do that and showcase what they do, how their products are run, why they did what they did. This is their day in their crazy life. And I'm on that journey. I don't know if I would be more interested if I was an entrepreneur or not, but they got me. Like, I want to know. And so that's what happens when you do polished commercials. And New Zealand is historically putting out commercials that are so geared for getting an award, they don't connect with the audience. So they're very weird. They're very weird and have a disconnect. Sometimes at the end of the commercial, you don't even know what they're promoting. And so that is big money that's working on the big money cycle. The consumer cycle is, are we aligned with the product? Do they fit my values? Is this something that I can afford? Actually, that's probably number one. And is it the cleanest and most wholesome version of what I can put in my house and buy from a Kiwi business? Those are some of the things, aside from like, don't sell to me. So how do you don't sell to people and then sell to people is on social media.
I love that. What are people overcomplicating about social media?
My snarky response is there's too many old people running agencies that do not understand their client. That's the simplest way to do it. So
Okay.
and I've worked out one of those agencies, by the way, where there's just this old guard, this man in their 70s, their 60s are rocking around saying, we need to go ahead and generate more commercials. We need to do all of this. We need to do that. Social media needs to be in it. They're not invested in the client. They don't know anything about the client either. But because this is always punch the ticket on getting the revenue, they are not emotionally interested or emotionally involved on wanting them to be successful. And that has happened with big name brands. They could care less. So that's kind of one of the reasons why it's not moving forward. But if you got somebody like, oh, okay, Maria, we're actually going to put you in charge of this really well-known agency, like it would flip on its axis. All of a sudden, we're talking about the consumer journey in a real response time on social media. What do they do? What do they want? Can we give them more what they want? And then the experimentation would happen. And old school agencies are not interested in experimentation. They're interested in the billable hour.
Boom.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I do come from that big corporate side, but I also knew when, like, okay, I get what's going on here. And the big company that I did work for that was a world-renowned agency, actually started from New York. This was their cycle. So if I knew that they weren't interested in doing social media, why the hell did they hire me for? And I knew that my time was going to be limited and I was going to be out of there soon because they didn't care about their clients and they didn't want to hear about innovation or A and B split testing. They're not interested in that. So really, when you're looking at a business and you either own the business or you're helping it operate, you need to actually look at those deliverables instead of saying, well, I want this ROI and I want this kind of sales. Say that to your sales team because they have to actually be a part of that conversation. It's just not you thinking about it. I mean, how many times have we've even been just so many different conversations here? Like, the sales team doesn't, like the marketing team doesn't even ask the sales team, what should we be focusing on? A lot of these disconnects, right? So we're usually dealing with people that are at the executive level that have no idea with the business. So a lot of things to pull back and a lot of people actually need to get real to, like, if you want to see yourself in 2030, like you have to get real with the things that you need to deliver, which is social media and AI social media as well in different ways that actually appease the market. I'm not saying like AI, all of your videos, but AI should be helping, assisting you in what that direction should be for starters, for sure.
Yeah, I actually had to write it down 3 things that I'm going to have to ask you later because you just got so much good stuff just on there. But I want to ask you something else because you have based it as well. It's like you've been in digital marketing such a long time. Look, it has completely changed. What has changed the most since you started? Like, what is the thing that you're like, this is it?
I guess the biggest change through social media and just general is that you can be a content creator in like no time flat. I mean, being a content creator, I think something like in 2009, there were YouTube makeup artists that started a lot, but it took them about 2 years for them to get established. Now you could be on TikTok and you can be a thing instantaneously. Like if you get a viral video, or if you're just consistent, you can see growth in 3, 6 months to a year. And now you can quit your job and you can actually just do content creation. And that's big. It's not as easily accessible as it is with TikTok, but YouTube has a great program. Instagram, Meta in general, they're starting to do a program. I don't believe in Meta personally, but it's out there. You got to do it. Politically, it's just not aligned with me. But however, that is a way to make money. So yeah, that's totally different. Like it's just changed how we do it. How And right now, there's a lot of businesses in New Zealand that really want to do, oh, if you had a content creation agency, we would hire from that. No, you wouldn't. It's not there yet. And we have to always remember, we're only 5 million people here. So that percentage of cachet of influencers is quite small. And not to mention, it's not as rich and robust as maybe overseas, like in the UK or the US. Australia is definitely coming in to win. So, you know what I mean? Again, it's about stepping up, understanding the education, knowing how to leverage yourself and doing a bit of that. And we're like, in comparative to where we are as a country in social media, I would place us as anywhere from 2016 to 2018. But we're behind. We're behind.
Yeah. And you just touched base in something, and you said it before, and it's something that I talked to Kate as well about at Oria's Kin, that a lot of it's about being seen, the visibility, like being so vulnerable and showing your day to day, like even like showing you the back of your houses where you do your office. Like, why do you think visibility feels so hard for so many business owners, or for women in art having to share? Because you see, like when you're doing social media and showing, like bringing your day to day, like it's hard as well, because not everyone that has a beautiful kitchen, you know what I mean?
But you have a beautiful snapshot. If you're going to cut vegetables and you're just going to narrow it on you or just the board, that's beautiful. That's always beautiful. But I would answer it the same way. I would say it's the same reason why we don't like looking at ourselves in the mirror too much. Like, oh, what's that? Oh my God, is that a wrinkle? Like all of that stuff is starting to happen with us. And it doesn't even matter, because you could be gorgeous in your 20s. And we both know when you're in your 20s, you don't think you're gorgeous, but you're flipping like fly as hell. Yeah. But you don't even see it. So it's all of that. It's being critical. And for me too, sometimes I'm in awe in a place and I just want to soak it in. I'm like, oh girl, get your camera and start filming. Like I forget that. So a lot of it is repetition, and you got to just keep doing it and try to get yourself to really launch that way. What I do sometimes, and I'm probably going to have to do it again, is I'm going to have to start recording everything just to get in the habit of doing that. And then that can help. Yes. Don't look, and then of course you got to edit yourself, right? But it's very interesting because I try to look at the outside, because then I start looking at me and going, oh my God, my teeth are crooked or something weird like that, right? And then a girl, as you get older, you're like, why is that hair on my face? What the hell?
And I'm like,
Yeah. So, what
are you doing here?
That happens, right? So, which you have no idea yet, but it's coming in 20 years from now. But anyway, seriously,
my husband broke his ankle and I didn't even have a shower, so I like washed my hair and I'm like super self-conscious at that, and I thought, oh, should have changed, because I didn't have time to you know what I mean? But that's kind of the things that happens, and it goes through like our head as we're doing things.
But that also too, that's when we connect with you. It's like you show up as who you are. And I think that Oprah over the years has done that. She has come on with a sun hat, just coming from her garden, no makeup, hair's a little messy. She has her sun hat on and she's talking to the audiences, doing social media. And then Oprah, we feel like we can go to the back door from her kitchen all the way to the red carpet and see her on stage. Like she has that parody. So you can have that as well. You can have a crazy day as a mom where everybody is howling at the moon, right? Or you can have like this really great polished, brunch with the girls on in a next week, or whatever it is that, you find joy and find a moment where you can really just be who you are. And so all of that should be filmed, everything. And so that connectivity, that connection is going to be there stronger than it was before. So yeah, it's really repetition. Got to do it more.
Very practical as well. Just kind of like getting your phone and just stuff and edit later kind of thing.
Yeah. And I always have this other really quick trick too to do, especially when I see myself go down that rabbit hole. I always consider myself my best friend. Like I always have my best interest in especially when things like you got to go into a new room, you don't know anybody. Like, okay, well, what would my best friend say about Francesca? The same thing I would if I was editing her videos. That you need to be kind to her. She's your best friend. She's always been with you. She's always gotten you to the place where you're at. Edit her kindly. Shut up with the stupid noise and don't critique her because you would never tell her your best friend, right? You wouldn't.
Oh
So-
my gosh, I loved that so much. Why do you say it was your best friend? Like, I just need a minute here. It's so powerful. You love it. Okay, when I decided to do the podcast, I didn't tell anyone. And I did a few episodes first. And I only had to tell people when I did my first interview. And I was like, I guess I need to tell people now. Like, including my husband, right? Like, he didn't even know until the day that Kate came over. And I was just like, I need the office. And he goes, why? Because Kate is coming over. And he was like, for why? And I was like, because we're doing a podcast. And he's like, what? Who has a podcast? Anyway, I felt very cringe. So what do you say to people or someone that feels cringe about posting about themselves?
Lovingly, and I say this as your Thea, your auntie, get over yourself. We want to hear about you. Like, literally, like, do I have to call you and talk, like, what's going on? Like, we need to hear, especially women of color as well. Absolutely. There's no better time now than now to actually get our voices amplified. If you, and yeah, I'm going to be a little brutal here, because if you listen to, what do you, it's that saying about men, it's like, oh my God, sometimes we don't need men and we certainly don't need their podcasts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're there out just always talking and talking about, also politically, about stuff that they have no business talking about, which is female rights, right? So if we're there talking about from our perspectives, what our lives are, what we need as a society, how we can build it forward, how we can do that for ourselves, and we need to hear voices. We need, especially women of color, we need to hear your voices. The one that I would love to do a podcast with, and it's really the controversy is pretty out of control right now, because I'm seeing this with Emma Grede has, oh my God, Maria, you have to read her book. I think it says it's Start With Me First, and she's actually the co-creator of Skims. And she comes from East London. She's amazing. But one of the things that has been coming on TikTok is that, oh, well, she's not Black because she is of mixed heritage. Like, her mother is white and her father is Jamaican, so she's not Black. That's being said with in the Mexican culture as well. Like, well, she was born in America, or she has a white parent, so she's not really Mexican. And I want to have that conversation, right? I want to have that conversation. Like, first of all, I have to like tone myself down and have that critical conversation, because how are you going to argue with anybody's ancestry, someone's great grandmother or great tia, and tell them actually they're not who they are? That's wild to me. And at the other side is the, when you're half Caucasian, because you are darker, you're not going to be accepted into that white culture. So, and especially when you have that position, I would really like to have a frank conversation about that. Not to win, but to understand why is this happening, and why can't this woman live in the space and place where she wants to live, whether she wants to connect with her white heritage or she wants to connect with her Jamaican Black heritage. Like, she should be allowed to move between two worlds, because love has created that. You know what I mean? Like, and the same with me. Like, it's like, I would love for your great grandmother to have a conversation with my Felipa, and you tell her that I am not of Mexican descent. I would just be there with popcorn going, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I love it. Even how we're founded as so Latina, it's like an auntie, get over yourself. Like, this is your Mexican life. That's just a Latina thing. You're like, oh, get over yourself. Like, I'm not sugarcoat this shit.
We need you. We need your voice. Come on, Yeah,
oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip a part of here, and I think if we can have time, I'm gonna go back into it. we talked a lot about when we first start talking about using AI to grab AI and help with your small business.
Right.
Where are small business underusing AI right now, and how they could be using AI to put advantage?
The same way a writer says, "Oh, I don't know what I'm going to write about," or the same way a marketer says, "I have no idea to reposition this campaign. We only have one product, and how many times you're going to talk about the one product and what it does?" This is where AI can go, well, let's look at your competitors. What are they talking about? And then they can do the undercover research. They can pitch to you what the new angle is. What are clients actually wanting to know about your product? That's the first step in AI. Just that.
Just the research, I remember, because I did a lot of those researches, it takes so long.
So long.
And they had to just like, oh my gosh, I love that.
It saves so much money, because I'm just thinking about like one of my roles when I used to work at 20th Century Fox and Universal, and I was just thinking like the way that we had to track social media and how many people clicked onto your Facebook ad, how many people actually responded or commented. That was a 30-hour week job for a junior. I can do that, all of the crazy heavy reporting, probably in 45 minutes. That took 30 plus hours, not to mention that poor person doing the report over the weekend so it can be received at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Like, come on. Like, AI in a weird way also helps make lives a little bit more human. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that, because you just said two really things, like, as it will take that 30 hours someone doing it, but it makes you more human because you're not doing the annoying thing that you didn't want to be doing in the first place.
Right. So that person could have either been at home, and this is, I'm a huge advocate for people working at home when they want to. I think Mondays suck. So if they were at their desk, with their own cafecito at 7 a.m. doing the report, and it's delivered at 8:30 to your manager, you didn't even have to come in till maybe, I don't know, 11 a.m. that morning. You know what I mean? Like, making life a little bit more human, where you're the blueprint. If you feel good, if your workers or if your people that you work with you feel good, they're going to produce more. So again, there's like a strategy piece to this, right? Like, why are you trying to kill the people that you need and doing those stupid reports when you could be literally cushioning them for the best work that they can produce for you possibly? It doesn't make any sense.
Great way of reframing and making it human. I love that.
Yeah.
One thing though, sometimes we're scrolling, especially I think LinkedIn, you know where I'm getting it. Oh my gosh, your face, exactly where I'm getting it.
I love LinkedIn, but I hate it as well. But I think it's because we got too many older types of content that's out there, and we need to modernize. But keep going.
Well, the content, like, it feels a lot that, yes, people are getting out there and putting things, but they all sound the same.
With the handshaking images and
they're double hyphenated, like, you're like, buddy, I know, and we all know this is AI. So one thing, like, yes, AI, how can we use the AI for content and creating, but like sounding like you?
I mean, when you were talking about it, the first thing I was thinking of, okay, this executive or this business doesn't want to be for or face first in social media. So I'm like, yeah, there's a work around that. So go ahead and do an Instagram deck, you know what I mean? And just kind of have that deck there, and then have either your brand manager or the owner go ahead and speak over the deck. And then there's your video. So you don't have to have like, okay, we're not going to have another, or, sadly, sometimes founders don't look all camera ready. So maybe you need to do something like that. Use their voice, have that, that Instagram deck that you would put on as a carousel, and then go ahead and make that into a movie with the voice overlay. And that's the connectivity that you need on LinkedIn for sure.
That is, yeah. I love how practical and simple. I'm having so many ideas. I hope everyone's getting lots of ideas and a new way of thinking about social media. what does personal brand mean to you beyond the boardwalk?
Okay, so like it or not, everybody that's working in your company, including yourself, is a personal brand. So
Yeah.
that has to be curated. That has to be, so there's a conversation about, okay, this is where my current position is now. Where do I want to go? You don't have to share that with your employer. You can be like, I want to be the lead person that knows everything about these, I don't know, these little hinges that come here, like we manufacture it, but there's something missing, and I'm all about that. So every week, I'm going to be talking to the cosmetic companies and product development. I want to be known for that. Awesome. So how can you position yourself within the company to do that? That's a personal brand move, like just understanding that, yes, you love the company that you're at now, but should you move, your expertise goes with you, just like a CV, right? Your expertise goes with you. So how can you make that as a digital presence for yourself? And so that's why it's really important. If somebody has like a company, they're like, I really want you to be in our social media videos. You're like, yeah, gotcha. I get it. Like, I'm going to speak to what I know. And what I know is I'm going to make the best of this particular product and situation. So if I choose to stay, I'm awesome. We're going to keep referring to me. But if I choose to either launch my own or I go somewhere else, I'm good. Like I have, and because I'm saving every video, I'm also having a potential to LA. They're called Reels, where they show all your past work, whether it's acting or commercials or whatever. They condense it in my day, right? So I'm Gen X. So you take your CD and you would take my reel or your thumb drive, because you're so modern now. And you would show people that. You can do the same exact thing when it comes to your work, what you do, and that you can position that in a private link to your website that shows anybody, this is what I'm capable of, this is what I've done, here's some of my work. So it's just about thinking strategically. So brand, your own personal brand is you thinking strategically about where you want to go. You always will have a personal brand. Don't sleep on it, because the game now is the more visible you are, the better your future outcomes are going to be.
I love that. So it just makes it, as again, is very relatable and very interesting of way of thinking, and to be, again, strategic. I love the word you used, is being strategic and thinking, where do I want to go? This is how I'm going to carve. I think that's absolutely what you told me when I first met you. And having that, like, this is, if that's where I go, like, start doing it. Go, you're amazing.
Oh, stop it. You are too. Shut up and stop it some more.
Thank you. Well, amazing people, they just stay with people. They're amazing. And like learn, and just, I'm just loving this conversation because there's so much inspiring new ways of thinking, like just bouncing back ideas. It's just so cool.
Oh, okay. I love it.
I feel like we've been talking for a lot of while, but I just have so much to ask you. Yeah. Okay. In all of that, we know there's so much social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, web emails, websites, podcasts. What would you say to someone who is exhausted by content?
Oh my God, this is so good, because the reason why we're overwhelmed, because this all prior, maybe even a year ago, this was also exhausting because the hours we had to put in. So if you use AI to help create the content, to do all of that, to actually keep your meeting notes from those senior partners that want you to produce the social media, you keep it all in one folder on AI. And when it's time to create, it's like, give me your top topics within the content pillars that we decided this week. And if anybody has ever done social media for anybody else, knows that the agreed pillars are never the same in month 3, month 6, and a year from now. Meanwhile, these a-holes are giving you the KPIs, right? Like, oh, well, we didn't have growth. Yeah, because you kept on changing things. So of course we're not going to have growth in that way. And that is something that I always am upfront with everybody, like whoever we produce social media content for, we have to adjust it. And part of that, the exhaustion factor, is because we're doing it all from scratch. And we're most likely, because we're really cool consultants, or employees were going back to day one. What were the agreed principles on how we were going to create social media? Meanwhile, your executive team moved on from that. Like literally as soon as they left the room, maybe by 3 o'clock that afternoon where they're having their other coffee, they're like, yeah, I don't know what we talked about, but it's done. And then you come back in a month, they reviewed everything and they're like, yeah, this isn't working. Okay, genius. It took a month. You know what I mean? Like, let's go ahead and change it a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work. And then they go ahead and they want to give you your yearly review and whatever, or the KPIs are coming through and you did not meet the criteria. Well, neither did they. So what AI does is it actually will track, timestamp everything, and even including emails that you can write to your executive team or your business owner and say, this is what we agreed upon. So, March's content is going to be this. But by the time you're in June, you're always going to continue and you're going to have that agreement in place. You can actually rewrite agreements per quarter. Like, this is what we've agreed on. It actually gets you not to be exhausted because you are putting somebody that has, might run into another problem. We'll talk about that in a second. The problem is that you are having your executive team becoming accountable. And that is rare, especially for Gen Xers. It's never happened to baby boomers, and elder millennials are starting to deal with this now. But we're getting smarter, right? We're getting smarter. We're actually clocking them on what they want to do. The other bit is after you have those meetings, I use Otter to record all my client meetings. I put that in my account management area of my AI. It will summarize what we want to do, what we've agreed on, my specifications and my strategy when I'm in the meeting. And then we produce all of the social media that we should be talking about for the next month. And that's how I roll. Everything's time-stamped, everything has a transcript, all of that. Now, for an employee, this might not work long-term because no boss likes to be accountable and they don't want to be shown up that way. So it has to be dealt a little bit more diplomatically. So you have to do those friendly emails. Can you please create an email that authenticates our conversation? And are you happy with this? Can we go ahead and move on to the next, with your permission? Like all of that corporate bullshit has to be in that email so that you look like you're actually trying to position your boss into making them look great. Oh my God, it's exhausting. I don't like corporates at all. That's why a lot of us are working for ourselves, right? But you can do it and structure in a way where it's like, okay, this is going to help me. It also helps me too when, yes, my Latina side comes out and I just want to rip somebody a new one. Like, what are you talking about? You're trying to hold me to something that I'm not, that we didn't agree on. And I can speak even into the AI thing and just and use the cuss words and say this and this idiot did this and they want me to be accountable for that or responsible for this. And then it'll bing, put out a beautiful, well-written AI generated email that looks so polite that I couldn't possibly have in real life, could have wrote it myself. But you know what I mean? Like all of these things actually help buffer and help you present well. And at the end of the day, again, you're your brand, you have brand reputation. How do you come off as a service provider or an employee? You can actually leave that in the hands of AI when they're addressing or responding. Yeah.
It's awesome. I hope that someone is listening to that because that's just such a good way of, but making it polite is the idea.
Yes, absolutely.
And so on. How do you choose then the right platform for your video?
This is a good question because we think about what are the things and the hits and misses of what we want to do for each client. So, leadership is obviously going to be, an authority is going to be on LinkedIn. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is when you do post on Instagram or you post on TikTok, and people are like, oh, I'm not going to dance on TikTok. It's nothing to do with that. Like, by the way, I get that you were watching TikTok on COVID, but can we have a 2026 conversation? And that 2026 conversation is about SEO. How do they find you? Do you know that a lot of people are going on Instagram and searching Oakland plumber? They're doing the same exact thing on TikTok. It depends on what platform you're on at the time when you're going to create it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if your husband goes, oh, you know what? We need to find somebody that can help us clean the pool. And you're on Instagram, guess where you're going? So that's happening more and more. And, all of the chat GPTs and Claude also knows that that's what's happening. What has dramatically happened within the last year or more is that we're now using any of these GPTs to search that, responsiveness. And so if your TikTok comes up and it says, how do I clean my windows in Oakland? I need to find somebody. And you see a window cleaner on TikTok, then you fulfill the searchability piece where, okay, not only did I find them, but I can see them in action. I like the way they present. They're very professional. That's my people. I'm going to hire them to clean my windows versus trying to do it the old school way where it's like, okay, I'm going to Google it. And Google knows that they are falling out of favor with people using Google. That's why they're scrambling with Gemini. They're scrambling to get people to go back and focus on them. But we're multi-focused, right? You're on all of these social medias and we're on chats. So your business needs to be there too.
Yes, yes, and yes. And there was a question I was going to ask you because right now it's a thing, right? Like the SEO, it's not just SEO to be in top 3 on Google. Like their game has absolutely changed. You need to be, and so how people can get into, I think you already answered, but like how people can get into those platforms so they can Google, like need social media content creator, strategist, and then kind of that. But then people are asking those things on ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or whatever it is.
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly right. So then you make content that actually answers those questions. And that pathway is called AEO. So it's answer engine optimization. So it's questions that you're asking for ChatGPT. And that's where that piece comes in. When you think about, I'm even thinking about not newer, but like some of the agencies that are in here that solely did SEO work, they're having to scramble and change their position because guess what? All of that hard SEO work that you had to pay $6,000 a month to do is at your fingertips and you solved it within 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Like this is what our customer needs to find out and why they need to find out about us. This is what we are known for. All of that, it will go ahead and do it. If you're rewriting your website, it will help tag the website. And it put me up against any professional SEO people because not only have I done it on a professional level and I've seen companies do it, then tell me this, why are you scrambling right now and adjusting your model? By the way, I got rid of my social media agency because I knew social media agency is not the future. But instead, I have an intelligent marketing studio, which we talk about all of these pieces intersecting and working together like a really happy, robust ecosystem. I get it. Other agencies are starting to get it too. But it also tells the business owner and the executive, listen, AI is a shorter pathway. So if you wanted to get to the beach, okay, are you going to go around the entire island just to go across the street? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
I love it. I feel like we're going to have to do this again because I actually had not even scratched the surface of the questions I had for you.
Okay. I would love to see you again. Are you kidding me?
But this is about now it's very selfish. I got a podcast. Yay, we're here.
I love it.
And this is very new to me. And
you're doing amazing. Like I'm literally, okay, first of all, where are you listed? Are you on Spotify? Like where can we find you?
Just on Spotify at the moment.
Okay, that's one of the best places to be. So you're there. All right, got it. Very good.
Okay. But you also have a podcast, and you've been doing for a lot longer than I have. And
since the Stone
question
Ages.
number one. There we go. Yeah. What made you start podcasting?
Start?
Yeah.
I was just starting and beginning to be an entrepreneur after going corporate. And I was also heartbroken because I really felt like I gave my whole life to this company, to this skincare company in particular. It was the second skincare company that I was involved with in Los Angeles. And I mean, now it makes me like, if I ever feel like, oh, that tall poppy, like, oh, I'm not good at anything. Okay, then go to Mecca, and go look at the products that you named. Like, how lucky am I? Like, it's not lucky, it's hard work. But you know what I mean? It's like, and I just kept on thinking, there's so many times where I was left out of the room because I didn't have the UCLA marketing degree or whatever. Like, but why am I still keeping myself out of the room? And that's why I did my podcast, because I'm so sick and tired of people telling me how valuable I am when I know that I'm valuable. I know that I contribute. Even when I was a sales or a sales makeup artist at Nordstrom with MAC Cosmetics, I knew that I was more valuable and that I can contribute at a bigger whole scale. Real quick, really, really, really quick. Their Nordstrom at the time when they were trying to lay off people in the 90s and early 2000s, and yes, that's when I worked there. I know some of you weren't born that are listening, but that's okay. We will keep going. But Bill Gates was an employee in the shoe department at the Seattle store at Nordstrom, and they also laid him off because he didn't make sales. And they gave him the same speech to a lot of employees that were about to get laid off because their sales were low. Never mind, they didn't market correctly. They all wanted word of mouth. Again, stuck in the ages at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And they would say like, and now he's Bill Gates. And we know the success that he has now. And being in HR, and I was so close to being fired because my sales weren't all that great. And I kept on thinking, you guys are dummies. Why didn't you put him in e-commerce? Why didn't you develop him? Like he's Microsoft. You idiots, let him walk through the door. And I've always seen myself like, that's fine. You want to, let me go? Well, you know what, you, and I hope I'm the next Bill Gates. And, I might be. And then we're going to go ahead and say the same story to somebody. Hopefully it inspires entrepreneurialism, because I will tell you what, nobody has your back aside from you. And if you run your own company and you run your own game, you're your number one employee. Treat yourself well. Be the best that you can be. And don't, I wish I knew this in Spanish so I could translate it. But don't take shit off of nobody. You know who you are.
Oh my gosh, I am so pumped. And I remember when I first came to New Zealand and I was working retail and I was really good at it.
You were.
I was like, I know there was more. And I remember that's how I came to you. Because I'm like, I know there was more.
Yeah.
I know I can do more. And how you do with this story, right? Don't be like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good in sales because I don't like sales or I don't like this, but this is my gig, there was so much more about I just love that, what you just said.
Now, I was just going to say this. I think that you and I have in common, which is great for us and our spirit, is that somebody has the nerve and the audacity to tell us no, that we can't. And we're like, we'll watch this.
Yeah. You could just watch his face. Yes. What has the podcast taught you so far?
The podcast in general, what it's taught me?
Podcasting, doing the podcast.
Just doing it in general, what it's taught me, is that what you're asking? Well, I think a lot of it is that consistency wins. I'm not a consistent person when it comes to content. I'm just not, and I'm not going to fight it. I've always been like that, even with schoolwork. With work in general, I try to get the things that make me happy and run with them. And the last 2 weeks I haven't produced podcasts in general. I just worked out one now that I'm going to be recording shortly. But what it taught me is that even if you have past work on it, save it. It's there. You can, help you. But more than anything that you do on social media is going to help index you. It's going to help you index you for the things that you want to be known for. And that is the key, most important thing, aside from the podcast and anything that has to do with digital. You want to be able to showcase what you want to be known for and walk in rooms like, I know what I want to be known for. This is it. And also, last year was a different, I had to change everything I wanted to be known for, including writing a book. And I would never thought I would write a book. I had to walk into spaces with knowing that success is going to be hindsight. It's not what I'm going through. It's like becoming who you want to be. And that's always going to happen. I don't care if I'm 50, 60, 70, 80. I know I'm not going to be the same person every decade or even every 5 years. So that's what helps you with podcasts, right? So we're going to see you at this gorgeous chapter of your life, and then we're going to see the next chapter. And then we could actually go back to the last chapter and see, my God, what was Maria's last chapter like? She said she was raising all these little gorgeous babies. Now the babies are older and she's doing this for her, in her career. Like, how did she do that? We always follow people that are in the similar sort of wavelength and pathway of what you are now. So there will be moms like you in your age that have little ones that are going to follow you up, in the next 20 years. So that's great. That's part of the podcast journey, is to see where that looks like. I mean, I wouldn't have known in the last 15, 20 years that this would be my life now. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing. Yeah.
I love that. I'm looking forward to see when my future self, to see my past self and be like, oh, actually, that was what was going on back then.
Yeah.
One last bigger question. What makes a conversation memorable for you?
A conversation, I think, is, and this is, sometimes people don't, and I'm stealing from Maya Angelou's quote from poem. It's like people don't even describe or understand, what you talked about or whatever you said. It's about how they feel they made you feel in that moment. So for me, my connect, if I truly like somebody, because sometimes you run into people that, you and I know, we run into people that are fake as shit, and you're like, you be polite and you're in a business environment, whatever. But the ones that you really want to connect with, you want to make sure that you giving them that feeling, that connection, that warmth feeling. And so they may not exactly understand or remember or recall what you talked about, but what the feeling was like. And I am all about that. Like, yeah, I'm here, not literally I'm here for the vibes, but I'm also here for the connection where I can maybe tap into somebody just like you and I. We haven't talked in a while because you're like, excuse me, well, I created this whole gorgeous life for myself. And you know what I mean? It's like married, babies, like all of that, which is like, wow, that is so powerful. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you can always come back because we know exactly what we shared, how we made each other feel, how trustworthy we are. And that's the point. That's the future. Oh my God. Like seriously, like that's the freaking point. Like you want to have that tangibility, that relationship, all of that. And that's one of the things that podcasts do. It's like a memory trapped in a little bottle, and you uncork it and feel all of those feelings all over again, for sure.
Oh my gosh. You know what? One of my Facebook albums is, like back in the days, we used to like Facebook albums and have like a little saying. That was my saying, the Michael Angelo saying.
Oh, I love her.
So, yeah. Okay, 5 questions, and we're going to wrap this up. One AI tool you are loving it right now.
Claude, because it keeps on like smacking you in the face next day. It's like, oh, you want design? Boom. Like that happened a week ago. It's like, okay, great. Oh, you want better memory? Here you go. Like, are you kidding me? It's literally responding to what we want as a community. And I think it's going to blow up creators like even bigger than what they are now. So yeah. And I'm a big proponent for people that are younger, because I'm literally almost lost all hope for anybody who's older. So like I'm no more energy there, but more energy in the present and in the future. Like enough. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Love it. LinkedIn, Instagram, or email marketing?
LinkedIn, because you can do both, and you can send them an email about your latest article. So if you're going to just do, I got to generate one thing, then and it's probably more robust than your newsletter list. And your podcast, I'm telling you, I think I told you this offline before, just like your podcast is going to get a lot more recognition on LinkedIn and a quicker build than, say, Instagram. Yeah. And you get your newsletter list there too, for sure.
Okay, perfect. Best content advice in one sentence.
Best content advice. Girl, they don't know you if they can't see you.
Well, that sounds like everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Biggest marketing red flag.
the conversation to ROIs instead of the conversation of how do we get seen.
Nice. One thing business owners should stop doing online.
One thing the business owner should stop doing online. Making everything look perfect. I mean, there is some really good output on fashion brands that are actually showing behind the scene cuts instead of polished, perfect content in the front. So that's actually better. So if it's more improv or spontaneous, that is sexier than a polished, glossy, editorial look. Like, get over yourself. Just show us the thing. And if we like it, we'll buy it. You know what I mean?
Awesome. I love it because that's what I hear a lot. It's like, oh, I don't want to do it because it's not perfect. And for a long time as well, like I want to do this podcast, but it needed to be perfect. And one day I was like, let it go, the perfection.
Same. Yeah. And luckily we've noticed and we see an uptick on performance when it's actually more natural, when you're not perfect. That's on your side.
Yeah. One thing business owners should start doing this week.
Planning your content. If it doesn't get planned, it doesn't get done. And if it doesn't get done, again, you can't be seen. So you just got to plan it. Even if you like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. Great. You know how we were talking about AI earlier? Then get on and feed it the information. Like, this is what we do. Or maybe you're out of a role and you don't have a job, but you see clearly, and this was you, because in between jobs, you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly where I'm going. And I'm like, great. So, and then you would do that pathway of how to get there. And we did it old school methods. But so now the runway is shorter. Yeah. So then you can go, okay, so I used to do sales, but I really, really want to do is operations because I see things very clearly and I have an understanding of it. Great. That's your hook. That's your whole thing for the next month. When you're unemployed, you need to be knocking out content, writing articles, showing people, getting those connections, sharing articles to the people that you want them to, hire you, all of that stuff, so that you're positioning it where, you're being seen. And again, it wraps around like, how can I get seen? Like, that's always going to be the question that you should be answering for yourself, for sure.
Okay, a book, podcast, or person that shaped the way you think.
I have to say, through my 70-something-year-old therapist, her name was Rebecca Willis in San Marino, California. And she was a model for Diego Rivera when she was 16. So it was just like, whoa. But she introduced me to Louise Hay, the Hay House series, because she worked with her too during the AIDS crisis in the 80s and did some therapy with those affected AIDS patients in the gay community. When I looked at her book about heal yourself and that you can change your environment, your perspective, what you do, how you live, and taking responsibility for everything that you do actually has a cause and reaction, that changed the game. So usually Hay House all of their books are kind of in that same rhythm. Anything from there is great. I especially like oracle cards too. So, I like to get witchy every once in a while just for fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then that will also help me really just think about my instincts and what I need to do next. So all of that sort of encompasses and circles like Louise Hay raised me. Even I think when I discovered her, I was in my early 30s, but I feel like she raised me. Yeah.
We'll have to look into it because I have not read that. So perfect. What does success feels like to you right now?
Right now, it's about the next iteration of what success looks like. Right now, I'm living it. Like I'm working for myself in New Zealand and the sun's out. We're out. Like, drop your work. It's, oh my God, the sun's out. And like everybody, because we don't have a lot of sun. So we get ridiculously happy when it's here and we worship it, right? So that's perfect. What my next iteration is that I'm going to be traveling more and I can work from wherever I'm at. And everything's going to be sustainable and cover itself. So, and I don't even know how, and I actually don't even care how it's going to, but I just know that that's going to be the next iteration. as my husband and I get older, we used to say when we were so young and in love, oh, we just want to grow old together. And our ongoing joke now, it's like, it's happening. It's right happening right now. So hot. So, and he's looking actually to retire maybe in the next 5+ years or so. And that's great. I'm never going to retire. I'm always going to be doing what I love doing. But, I see him as a travel companion. He's, and when I do travel with him, he's like, I have all the passports. I have everything. I have all the information. I'm like, that's great. You keep doing that. I'm going to be like opening my laptop from time to time and just jumping in. And that's just a really good yin and yang. So that next iteration is us traveling around the world and doing all of that. Hopefully things will settle down where we can feel safe about moving around the world. And I also feel like that is going to be happening soon. And I'll leave it at that.
Hopefully. It's been amazing. I'm so happy to reconnect with you and having this conversation. I feel like we're going to have to do this again because I left out so many things and we touched base on so many other things. Like I want to talk more about woman leadership and all of that because, we just scratched the surface. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh my God, thank you. It just felt like you and I, way back in the day where we just had like our little coffee at the store in Brita Mart. We're just chatting. You know what I mean?
There.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely more of this, please. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. How people can find you?
I will give you the link to all my links. It's like that link in the bio. So they can just check out whatever they feel drawn to, whatever they feel called to. And then, yeah, I'd love to connect. Because your people are definitely my people. And I know my people are definitely your people.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. You're just incredible. Like, seriously.
It's so yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And your makeup looks incredible, by the way. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, my hair is
No,
so
you don't
crazy.
understand. I went on the camera and I was ghost white. And then I went, oh my God, hurry up. He's going to go on. So I was just literally in front and just putting on darker colors because I still look completely washed out. Like I don't have a strong lash line, but I'm like, again, doesn't matter. Just do it. Just
show up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's such a thing. Like we are so critical of ourselves.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh, how good was that? I honestly feel like I could have talked to Francesca to another 3 hours. There was something so powerful about being in a conversation with someone who is not only incredibly smart, but also real, so generous and so willing to say the things that a lot of us are thinking, but are too scared to say it out loud. What I love the most about this conversation is that it wasn't just about social media or AI or marketing. It was really about permission. Permission to be visible, permission to use the tools available to us, permission to stop waiting until everything is perfect, permission to take up space. And I think that is such an important reminder, especially for women in business, for immigrant women, for women of color, for mums, for anyone who has ever thought, who am I to put myself out there? Because as Francesca said, people do not know you if they can't see you. So this is your little nudge for the week. Post that thing, record that video, share the idea, use the AI tool, write the article, start messy, whatever your vision of showing up looks like. A huge thank you to Francesca for joining me and for bringing so much energy, wisdom, and Latin anti-fire to this conversation. I will pop Francesca's links in the show notes so you can connect with her and follow what she's doing. And as always, thank you so much for listening to the Me Vibes podcast. If this episode made you think of someone, send it to them. If you loved it, I would be grateful if you followed the podcast or shared on your stories. And I would love it even more if you just give the good 5 stars for good karma. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
If your marketing has felt like shouting into a room where nobody is listening, something is off. The good news is it is fixable. The Hustle and Glow Bootcamp is a 12-week of live coaching and AI integrated strategy built for the moment you decide to stop guessing and start building something that actually works. This is your time. Not sure where to start? Take the quiz at socialglobalgrind.com and click on the pink button that says Find Your Pathway. It will guide you through and to your next new steps. Check out the Intelligent Marketing Studio at socialglobalgrind.com to find out more.